Hello, everyone. Welcome. I know you can't see me, I'm beyond the camera, but I know that today is supposed to be an afternoon tea live stream. And believe me, I was going to do that, but as you know, those of you who tuned in to the model railroad build yesterday saw that we were like rushing to finish these two buildings that we're working on. And I asked my dad to come over again today so that way he could finish painting the building he was doing. Because I feel like we're so close to being done with these two buildings. And so I knew that tea time was on the way, and we just didn't have time to clean up and get everything ready for tea time. So instead of doing an actual tea time today, you'll just be watching us build this stuff. But of course, we can talk about any subject you guys want to talk about. You know, ocean liners, trains, all that good stuff. So let me just get to my channel so I can look at the comment section and we'll begin. So first of all, hello to everybody. And Moonzer asked a question. Let's see, where is it? Moonzer asks, hey Alex, I have a question. If Queen Elizabeth was still existing as a hotel, would you stay tonight on it? If I had the money, then absolutely, in a heartbeat. If I had the money to go wherever the RMS Queen Elizabeth was and stay overnight, I'd definitely do it. I mean, even if the Queen Mary was open right now and I had the money to just drop everything and go down there, I'd go. Instantly, yeah, for sure. Tyler says, Alex, you don't have to answer, but why did Disney decide to close Splash Mountain? I'll never know. Splash Mountain...
I know.
Yeah.
I know why.
Yeah.
So, they are retheming it because there's still some aspects of it that are a little bit too old, shall we say. Not in tune with what Disney's trying to do now, which is to be more, what's that word, Alex?
Inclusive.
Inclusive, thank you. And I know this because I worked for Disney for 18 years and I just stopped working for Disney just to move up here to be closer to Alex and his sister. So I left Disney after working 18 years there. So I know that's the reason for it.
Yep, indeed. I forget who asked earlier, but somebody asked me earlier. Oh yeah, as Brian asked, how come you're starting 30 minutes early? That's because on Sundays, Historic Travels does a Sunday live stream at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And so I know that a lot of my viewers like to go to his channel and watch that live stream. So I don't want to encroach on his live stream with my own. So I start an hour earlier. And that way, you know, even if I'm still droning on and on my live stream an hour through, at least people have a chance to go over to his live stream and catch that. So it's basically just to make sure that, you know, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes or anything like that. So, but yeah. So, let me see here. Moonzer says, would Queen Elizabeth have been in elementary school or middle school? What if they had 6th grade? I'm in 6th grade right now. I think it would be cool to go school on the Seawise University. Well, Seawise University is actually for college students. So the Queen Elizabeth would have been for people who are 18 years or older, basically, after they've finished high school, you know, that kind of thing. And they would have traveled around the Pacific. And I believe one of the stops on the first voyage would have actually been Long Beach to sail by the Queen Mary. So, but yeah, it would have been for college students. Yes, hello everybody. Hello Kevin. Hello Daniel. Hello Remy. Hello everyone. Deshaun. Let's see here. Avril Lavigne says, interesting channel, I like it. Thank you so much.
Avril Lavigne?
Yeah.
not the Avril Lavigne
I don't know.
part.
Okay, so what you're going to be seeing me doing, guys, is it's now time to add tar paper to the roof. And so just like they would do it in real life, we got scale pieces of tar paper. This is, in scale terms, this is 4 feet by 16 feet of tar paper. It is basically black construction paper that I've sprayed a light film of of uh, what do you, Dad? What do you call the gray undercoat? What do you call that?
Primer.
Primer. I sprayed a light coating of primer on it, and then I've taken this little emery board here and sanded down one edge of each piece to make it look a bit weathered, just the way that tar paper roofs would be. And we're going to lay this down just the same way they would with tar paper roofs. So feel free to ask me questions while I'm doing this. And I'm using it's a glue stick, but it's for crafts, so it's extra strength. But it's yeah, a really simple process. Probably the most simple thing I've had to do on this whole build. Fallon says, Alex, is Queen Mary open? Actually, I'm going to put this here. Queen Mary is open for free tours, which you've had to pre-book. The city of Long Beach allowed people to pre-book the free tours, and currently they are all booked out. So technically yes, but actually no. So sorry about that. I had friends that wanted to they wanted to book one of those tours, and they just couldn't. They weren't there in time. So the first piece of tar paper is on the roof. You can kind of see how that looks. And then what we do is we overlap them as we go. We start from the bottom going up, so that way they look like they're layered. Mike says felt paper roof. It's not felt paper. It's like construction paper. It's just black construction paper that I've sprayed the primer on, and then kind of weathered it up a little bit. So now I'll do the next piece. Making sure to get plenty of that on there. I've got plenty of glue sticks, so I'm not worried about running out. I just want to make sure that I apply this all correctly. And you know what, for this bottom layer, I'm just going to let it kind of overlap over the roof. Just a little bit. Hopefully the last piece will fit. Yeah. I'll have to cut a piece off, but that's alright. Chris, yeah, I know. You've mentioned Marceline, Missouri a lot. Yeah. Fallon says, Alex, what ship still has the blue ribbon? The SS United States still holds the blue ribbon. Yeah, so far, no ship has surpassed the United States' blue ribboned, or I should say, no ship has captured the blue ribbon away from the SS United States. I feel like I need more space. This is not enough. Nice. Okay. So now I'll glue this last piece here, and then we'll use what do you call it? The hobby knife to cut the rest off. Okay. Now, Dad, when you have a moment, could you
Yes.
hand me the hobby knife over there?
Yeah.
The shiny one. Thanks. Let's see. Ging Ging says, "Hey Alex, how was your day? My day is going really well, thank you. How's your day, Alex? Or, how's your day, Dad?"
my day is really good so far.
That's good.
Yes. We are both not thinking, I think.
Yeah.
We are loss of words right now.
I can't believe I called you Alex.
Yeah. I mean, I'd expect you to call me your sister's name, but not yourself.
Let's see. Mike says it's called felt paper, not tar paper. It's a type of roofing. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard it called felt paper before. I mean, as far as I know, the way it was applied was it was a type of well, it was a type of material, but you applied it with tar. That's why it was called tar paper. They would apply the tar first, and then you put the paper over it. And I don't even think it's really paper. It could be felt, but yeah, it was applied with tar, which is why I've always heard it called tar paper. Now today they don't do that. I don't think they have a different type of adhesive, but I don't think they use tar anymore because it's so dangerous to work with up at tall heights. You know, Dad,
Yeah.
Grandma once told me a story of when she was a young woman, but she was out doing errands or something, and they were applying a tar paper roof to a building.
Yeah.
And one of the workers, all of a sudden, they were lifting one of those tar buckets up there,
Uh-huh.
and they dropped half of the bucket, like it tilted, and all the tar dropped onto one of the workers.
Oh, man. That must have been very bad.
Yeah, and she saw it happen, and she just felt so bad for the guy. I would have felt bad too. That's terrible. Ship Build says, "What year does your model railway take place?" It's not a specific year, but actually a decade. So it takes place in the 1890s. So it will have elements of things from the early 1890s all the way to the late 1890s, possibly even the year 1900. Just depending on, if there's something that I really, really want on here, but it might not fit in the 1890s. I can make exceptions or whatnot, but yeah. So, 1890s. And it's definitely based very closely on actual operations of railroads here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's see. Somebody asked. Eric says, "Do you think the U.S. could get a 51st state? Is one needed, or are you fine with 50?" Eric, that's a strange question to ask.
No,
but,
actually, I think I saw that
yeah,
on YouTube someplace. I know that one of the states...
Puerto
well, I
Rico.
know, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, the territory.
Yeah, and then I know California has always wanted to split into two. So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah,
And there's another state recently that wants to...
Oregon.
Oregon wants to split into?
Yes, because Northwest Oregon, where we are,
Yeah.
is considered very democratic, but all the other three corners of Oregon
Yeah.
are considered very conservative. So the other three corners, a lot of them are kind of getting into this thing where they want to become part of Idaho.
Oh. Well, that's not another state, though. That's a part of Idaho.
Well, yeah, that's true, yeah.
I think the panhandle of Texas wants to be a state also. So, a lot of states want to be their own separate state. So,
Yeah. Let's see. Fallon Wills says, "What about SS America?" I don't believe SS America ever had the ribbon. No, it couldn't have, because it went from the German liners of the early 1900s to the British liners Lusitania, Mauritania, back to the Germans for Bremen, and I think uh, the other one, I forget the name, and then there was the French liner Normandy, and then there was Queen Mary, and then there was SS United States. So SS America never had the ribbon. Uh, Tyler Frederick says this week has two tragic anniversaries: the death of Queen Elizabeth. I'm guessing RMS Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, because RMS Queen Elizabeth and the sinking of Costa Concordia. Yeah, that is pretty terrible. Um, Eric, that's really good news about your drawings. So just... Oh, oops, moved that too far. I have to be careful because I want to press the paper down without snapping the roof in half. So... And you can kind of see what it's doing is it's making it look uneven. It's making it look like there's, like the paper is lifting up in certain areas. And that's perfect. That's perfect because that's exactly how it would be on a real roof back then. Let's see here. Fallon Will says, "What happened to the SS America?" I get that ship. I get its fate confused with a lot of other ships. So I'll let somebody else answer that question. Jacob says, "Locomotive shed looks great so far. Thank you so much. Today I had stained the wood of the shed, so you can kind of see. And it's the same stain applied to all the wood pieces, but you can see that each wood piece kind of develops a different color. So it's kind of cool how that happens. And it's not like I had to go over individual pieces twice or three times. It was all given one coat, but each wood piece just absorbs the stain differently, so it gives it a nice multicolored look to it. So now I'll just continue applying the roofing. Doc says, "So sad, missed yesterday's live stream." Well, that's okay because today's live stream is a lot like yesterday's. It's just me and my dad sitting here working on these models. I feel like I've been working on this locomotive shed forever, and I just kind of want to be done with it by now. You have to be really careful with this because I need to press it down, but I don't want to snap the roof. Fallon Wells says, "Alex, is Titanic 2 fake?" I mean, it wasn't fake, but it certainly was never going to happen. I mean, the guy kept saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna build it," but I'm like, dude, that's an impossible dream. It's not gonna work out the way that people think it's gonna work out. And and I've been saying since I was a teenager that you'd never be able to get the investors to invest in something like that. And I was right. Okay. Daniel says, "Hey Alex, doesn't Oregon have a narrow gauge tourist railroad? I think it's called Sumter Valley." Yes, indeed, they do have Sumter Valley. I barely learned about Sumter Valley less than a week ago. I didn't know Oregon even had a narrow gauge heritage railway, and I stumbled upon videos of Sumter Valley Railroad, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty neat." The only thing is, it's located in East Oregon, and it's not exactly the friendliest place for well, at least I don't think so. I've been to Eastern Oregon, and I was not treated very well there, so I do not want to go there. Moonzer says, "Hey Alex, I have a question. So this is just something when I go to Queen Mary, I want to know before I go, but are there certain age limits for the restaurants? I am 11 years old, so I don't know if I'm too young." As far as I know, the restaurants on Queen Mary don't have any age limits. The only thing is that if you were to go to restaurants like the Observation Bar or Sir Winston's, the bar areas of those restaurants are, children can't sit at them. But the regular tables, you can. That being said, the Observation Bar on Promenade Deck, they barely serve any food, mostly just alcohol. So there really wouldn't be a reason for you to go to that restaurant anyway. But yeah, should be fine if you go to Sir Winston's or any of the others. Chelsea's Chowder House. Now this roof is looking nice. Fallon says Alex, Abraham Lincoln died the same day but different year Titanic sank. Yeah, that I know. There's a I think I saw a video on YouTube where somebody was talking about how odd the day April 15th is. A lot of weird stuff has happened around the world in history on April 15th. So Jacob says, "How did you stain it?" So the wood on the thing, I'm guessing that's what you mean. This, um, this was actually stained with a very simple technique. It's just water and India ink. India ink is the same type of ink that you use in fountain pens. And so you just buy a little jar of it. I think it's maybe $5 for like a nice little jar of it. And literally, maybe like a few milliliters of it mixed with, you know, I don't know, cup of water or something like that. You basically just dissolve it into the water until it makes a stain that you're happy with. And yeah, you just mix that together and normally, like, if I'm doing pieces of lumber, I'll take the lumber and I'll use tweezers and dip it into the water mixture. Um, but in this case, I took a paintbrush and I brushed it onto the structure. So that's an interesting little technique to make wood look like it's so old and it's been sitting outside for years. So it's a really good technique, and the darker you make it, the more convincing it looks. So Ryan, hello, I'm doing good. How about you? Ging says, "Hey Alex, what location does your model railroad take place in?" It takes place in the forests of Western Oregon. I haven't decided a specific city yet because technically, my model railroad is kind of a fantasy location, but it is very heavily based off of the logging and mining industry railroads of Western Oregon. So that's definitely going to have forests on it. So the layout's going to have lots of trees and stuff. Let's see. Doc says, "Did Dad get any Cure tickets from Santa? I didn't get any Depeche Mode tickets. I was too naughty."
Um, the Cure hasn't announced their North American tour yet. I think they're waiting to release their album before they announce their U.S. tour. But I am waiting, and maybe Santa will get me those a little later this year, or earlier this year, hopefully. I hope they come up here. I hope they come up near to where we live. I mean, I'm willing to go to Seattle to go see them, so maybe even Vancouver if I'm able to.
Alright, so the first side is mostly done. And now we're going to move on to the second side. I guess I should get that closer to the camera. Yep. Ship Build says, "Imagine if Queen Mary 2 and Queen Mary had a race across the Atlantic." Yeah, that would, if the original Queen Mary still had her engine systems and everything, she would definitely be much faster than the Queen Mary 2. But that being said, the Queen Mary 2 is the fastest passenger ship, I guess fastest large-scale passenger ship that's on the ocean right now. I'm being very careful not to call it a cruise ship, because while it does do cruising, it is not a cruise ship. Fallon says, "Alex, heard of Historic Travels versus Brightside boxing fight?" I haven't been keeping up with it, but I have noticed that there are a few videos on Historic Travels' channel where he's kind of debunking stuff, I think, that is on Brightside videos. So, but I haven't watched any of that stuff. Chris, it's a long story about my adventures in Eastern Oregon, but yeah, everywhere I went, people were not very friendly to me, so, yeah, I did not enjoy that one bit. To be honest, a lot of rural places are like that. They do not like outsiders. You drive through their town, they want you gone. They want you gone faster than when you drove in. So, time is it? 4:07. So I'll keep doing the live stream for another 23 minutes, and then I'll end it at 4:30 my time. Ships do over Titanic. Wait, Fallon says, Alex, what ships go over Titanic's wreck? Not very many passenger ships, to be totally honest. So it's not like you could take a transatlantic cruise and then literally go over Titanic, because since Titanic, they have moved the passenger lines further south to prevent anything like that from happening again, like what happened to Titanic. So it wouldn't be very likely that you would cross over Titanic on a passenger ship. But there might be freight lines that do, but yeah. Hemingway says, Alex, what music are you listening to while working on the engine house? We're actually not listening to music. You guys are. You guys can hear music in the live stream feed. It is, there is actually a link to where you can find the music in the description of the video. But we're not listening to anything, because if the music is too loud, I can get copyright strikes for it. So I've carefully set the audio of the music on my streaming software. So even though I can't hear it, I know it's always going to be at a certain volume. So, but yeah, we're not listening to anything right now. For us, it's completely silent. Aside from the rain, we can hear the rain. Irish Lad says, my great-grandpa built and died on the Titanic along with my granny. Wow. I'm sure that's a story to tell. Fallon says, Alex, what model shop has ship models? I actually don't know. I've never purchased a ship model from a model shop before.
What model shop ships models?
No, just what model shop has ship models.
Oh. Well, it depends on where you are located. If you're in Southern California and anywhere in Southern California, actually, you can go to Brookhurst Models. I like that place. They have a lot of inventory. You can also find them. I think they do shipping now on. If you go to their website, they'll ship it to you now.
Hey Mark, how's it going? Okay, let's see. Fallon says, Alex, who would win, original Queen Mary or Queen Elizabeth? Win what?
The fastest, I'm guessing.
If it's the fastest, it would be the Queen Mary. Queen Elizabeth wasn't capable of going as fast as Queen Mary in terms of record-breaking speed. Armis, Queen Elizabeth was only built to be able to keep up with Queen Mary on a normal service voyage. Oh, jeez. Hey Ken, how's it going? D.L. Hemingway says, Alex, do they still have transatlantic and trans-Pacific ship passenger service? There is only transatlantic passenger service, and that is on the Queen Mary 2, because Cunard still does that tradition. But it's not as reliable as it used to be. It used to be that, it would be weekly transatlantic service year-round. But it's not like that anymore. Now you just have to book specific voyages. As for Trans-Pacific, there's nothing consistently scheduled the way Cunard does it. If you wanted to do something Trans-Pacific, you'd have to wait till a cruise ship was doing a repositioning cruise. And then it might go Trans-Pacific. But you're looking at a voyage that is maybe 2 weeks long. And it's funny because the Queen Mary 2 was built to have a fast and speedy transatlantic service. And that meant that you could get across the ocean in just over 4 days on Queen Mary 2. But because there's no demand for getting across the ocean that fast, they no longer run the ship that fast. Florencia says, how is the shed doing? It's doing pretty well. I'm installing the rooftop today. All the rooftop paper. Tiki Ghoul, how's it going?
Hi, Tiki Ghoul. How are you?
Hemingway, Alex, have you watched Thunder Mesa Studios? Yes, indeed, I am subscribed to Thunder Mesa Studios. I really enjoy watching Dave's videos. Ging Ging says it must be a pain cleaning up after working on your model railroad. It really is because, I live in a small studio apartment, so it's not like I have a dedicated space to working on this. I have to use the same spaces I use for cooking and eating and all that. So after we're done, usually when we do these things, my dad and I work together to clean everything up, put it all back in boxes, and put all the boxes back underneath the layout. So yeah, it is a pain sometimes. A lot of people, they have their own dedicated workspace for this. So, for them, it's not like they have to do much cleaning up afterwards. Some people don't even clean up at all. Chris says, what do you think about all the rain that you're getting? We love it, I grew up in Southern California where it's very, very dry. And I've always really liked the rain whenever we got it, but we rarely got rain. And so living up here now, I really enjoy the rain. I enjoy the weather, I'll take walks in the rain, even if I get soaking wet. So, yeah.
Like we did today.
Yeah, like we did today. We went out and all of a sudden the clouds just opened up and the wind suddenly kicked up, and next thing you know, we're soaked to the bone. I did not expect that, but Dino DeSantis says, since you mentioned the music, do you have a favorite type of music? A favorite type? Not necessarily. I have favorite bands, but not a favorite type of music, no. Hemingway says, I'm getting ready to construct a small ON30 railroad. I will use Bachmann HO Easy Track. Pretty cool. Yeah, I did consider that at one point, but yeah, I don't like Easy Track personally for my own railroads. Um, but then again, also I'm the kind of person that likes to customize everything. Fallon Wills, we already answered that question for you. It's the third time you've asked it in a row. Hemingway says, I've got porters and fornies. Maybe I could have designed a railroad in ON30 on a door slab slash hollow core. Yeah, a lot of people use doors to build their what do you call it? Their models on. Um, they're very useful that way. Makes it easy so you don't really have to do much with the bench work. Carl Trotter says, speaking of music, what is your favorite song about the Queen Mary? It would be Somewhere at Sea, which was composed by Henry Hall. So that one's my favorite. Henry Hall was also invited onto the maiden voyage of the Queen Mary, where he served as the orchestra director on the ship for the maiden voyage. Let's see here. Oh, I was afraid of that. Okay. Hemingway says, my first locomotives are two 260 moguls, one lettered for Colorado mining and mineral, and the other for the Colorado Southern. Also have a 040 Davenport side rod gas mechanical. Interesting. Fallon Will says, who owns the Lusitania wreck? I don't know. Yeah. JXUS says, alright, well, good to check in. Gotta go, but have a good one. You too. Have a good one. Robert says, 19 years ago today, Queen Mary II was christened by Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Guess you could say it's Queen Mary II's birthday. That's pretty cool. Was that... Oh, that was... Oh, 19 years ago today. Oh, interesting. Daniel says, off-topic question, but what is you and your dad's favorite food? Personally, I love pozole.
Well, my favorite food is Japanese food. I enjoy sushi actually a lot, and I'm not a novice sushi eater. I am a professional kind of guy. So if you ever went to dinner with me and you saw me eat one of the sushi,
Eat a sushi?
yeah, eat a piece of sushi, you would probably be like amazed at what I eat, because I eat the really rare kind of stuff like live lobster, live sea urchin, live Santa Barbara prawns, and the heads. I kind of find it funny internally when I go out with friends when they're eating shrimp. They don't eat the tails. That's the best part, because in Japan you eat just about almost everything that is cooked and served to you. And so I like the what they call ama ebi, which is live Santa Barbara prawns. They're really sweet, and then they take the heads, they deep fry them, and they serve them back to you, and you eat those. The only time you don't eat the tail is when it's raw, but if it's cooked and deep fried, tempura style, or tempura, however way you want to say it, they taste great, actually. I am a very picky person, snobby person, actually, when I go eat sushi. I've had friends that tell me, oh, hey, I know a great sushi place, and they take me to it, and they say it's Japanese, but in reality it's Korean owned. Now, I have no kind of feelings for it being Korean owned, but it's not Japanese sushi, it's Korean sushi. So when you're going to a restaurant and you feel like having Japanese sushi, if you see the menu and there's more than, let's say, 10 kinds of rolls on there, and they have a whole list of rolls, it's most likely going to be Korean owned, because they really like their rolls. I like simplicity. I like the fish. I like the clams, the crustaceans, that kind of thing, to be served to me more than it is in a roll. So if you ever are questioning that, is it Japanese owned, or is it Korean owned? If you don't know what the language is, or you don't recognize words that are being spoken, most likely it's Korean owned.
My favorite foods, 'cause I like sushi as well, but my favorite would probably be um, uh, like Cajun and Creole foods. So those are probably my favorites. Yeah. Mm. All right, let's see. Lost and Wondered says that weathering looks great. Thank you so much. Yeah, here's another view of the roof.
That looks really good.
Thanks.
Going back to the pozole question, I'm not a big pozole fan, but I am a menudo fan, and not the band, the '80s band. No, I mean the food. I prefer that one more than the pozole, but I have not had a really good pozole actually. I've had very, very few good ones.
Willem says, "Where are you? I don't see you today." I'm the hands behind the the roof here. So, working on this. Yeah, I was telling people who were here at the beginning of the live stream that we were like I was going to do a tea time, but we were working on these buildings for the model railroad because, I'm going to be very busy this week. I won't have time to work on this, and I really just wanted to get the buildings at least mostly completed. My dad, all he had to do left on that building was just to paint the trim of the building. So I didn't want to go the whole week and have to wait, for all that. So yeah, so I decided that because we were still working on this by the time it was time to get ready for tea, I was just like, let's just keep working on this, because otherwise I'm afraid it just won't get done. Alright, so this part of the roof is now finished. I just have a few more parts of the other bits of the roof to go. So we'll go ahead and pop this on here. There we go. Now I gotta do this smaller part. This should be pretty fast. Ryan says, Alex, what's your favorite dessert? Just off-topic question. Favorite dessert? Jeez. I don't really know.
Mine is tiramisu. I like tiramisu.
Tiramisu's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the problem is I'm very much into desserts, so it's really too difficult for me to decide because I just like so many different desserts. I have a sweet tooth for sure. But I guess I can list some of my favorite desserts, which would be oh, I don't know. I can't even think of them now. Yeah, my brain has a one-track mind, so when I'm working on this, it's really hard for me to recall stuff. I don't know. You could practically name a dessert, and I'd pretty much say, oh yeah, I like that. TT says, what do you think of the nice graphic Art Deco posters that were made back then? I really like them. You know, I have a few of them. Like, I have one that I interchange between the one that's on my wall and stuff like that, so... yeah. I like them a lot. Ryan Hines says, Alex, would you be okay with having rain for 2 weeks straight since you love the rain so much? That is a funny question.
Because we've had rain for 2 weeks straight. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we've just gotten started in our winter season. Up here in northern Oregon, it rains for months at a time. You know, last year, we had so much rain, it was you know, the sun didn't come out for literally, I think, at one point, a whole month. We went a whole month without seeing the sun. It was just raining every day. And so, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. It can bother other people, especially if they're not used to seeing so much rain. Some people, they get seasonal something disorder. Seasonal affective disorder or something like that. But I don't get that at all. I feel totally fine. But, yeah, sometimes you don't even see the sun for a month. So, yeah, if you want to live in the Pacific Northwest, you have to be willing to say goodbye to the sun for the winter. Hey, Alex and Mr. Alex, when do you think the model railroad will be finished? Well, like I always say, it'll never be finished. You know, these things never are done. But I mean, it would probably get to the point of looking like it's finished. Maybe at this rate, in a couple months, maybe. But yeah, it's hard to say because, you know, I've had this layout for 4 years now, and, you know, it's only been these last few months that a lot of work has happened on it, you know, so, and that's, a lot of that is because of my dad being here and helping me out, but, he's going to be busy soon. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to say. Carl says, "What do you know about Commodore Everett Horde? I bet he loves your content." I know who Commodore Everett Horde is, but I wouldn't say I know anything about him. I don't know if he watches my channel, to be honest. I know a lot of people do. People in various industries of the things I talk about. Back when I made Disney content, I know that the Disney company used to watch my stuff. I got contacted by them a few times. But, I had the Disney family contact me at one point. But that wasn't because they liked my content. But, yeah, yeah, so, if he does watch, I'm not sure. I've never heard from him. Alright, folks, I think I'm gonna end the live stream now because it has been quite a while. But you can see the progress we've made, basically. Well, actually, I'll end it right as I'm done with the last few pieces of tar paper here. Because I'm so close to this roof being just completed. I won't have to worry about it. Well, at least not the tar paper part. Willem says, Alex the Historian, is your surname Historian? Because you sure are. Sure. Yeah. I'm Alex the Historian, and that's Mr. Historian over here. Historian Senior? No. Just 3 more pieces of paper, and then I'll end the live stream, and I'll show you our progress. So I think my dad's almost done.
Almost. I have 3
You gotta
more
lower
windows.
it down here.
Oops, 3 more windows. And some more, I don't know, a couple more strokes over the paint to fill in the gaps.
It's looking really nice, though.
Thanks.
I like it. Carl says, thank you, Alex and Father, for such a wonderful time. You're welcome. One last piece. Let's see, I can use some of these scraps. Oh, why? I have so many tar paper pieces here. Don't need to use a scrap piece. Alright. That one down. So now we just press that last piece in. There we go. Bring the building over without breaking it. Put that over there. Set this down on top. And there. You have an idea of what the building will look like. If I kind of... So yeah. And then the front of the building. This is where the trains go in. Yeah. Now, there's another little roof on this side that still needs to be papered over, and that's what I'm going to do next. But yeah, you can basically see what this whole building will look like. Pretty neat. I'm very happy with it so far. I originally said I'm probably going to apply a layer of paint on this and then sandpaper some of the paint off so it'll look like it's wearing away off the building. But I'm not sure. I kind of like the way the building looks. I don't know.
It looks good.
Yeah. Justin says, could you remind me briefly as to why Queen Elizabeth was not made to be faster than the Queen Mary? Thanks again. I was going to look up one of your older videos, which I do anyways. Yeah, sure. Just a quick recap, which is that Queen Mary was considered the, Cunard's Lamborghini, the racehorse between the two ships, the one that they wanted to capture the riband. And as some of you might know, in order to get more speed out of a ship, it costs more money. It costs more machinery, which meant more boilers. It costed more fuel, a lot of fuel actually. When the Queen Mary got to her fastest speed, the engineer said that they could walk into the oil tanks of the ship and actually watch the oil dropping from the tanks when she was at full speed, because that's how much they were consuming. It was exorbitantly expensive for Queen Mary to be constructed that way. So Queen Elizabeth, they didn't need two ships with the ribbon. They just needed one. So with Queen Elizabeth was designed to be the fuel-efficient one. So she was supposed to have all the same basic amenities as Queen Mary, but be more fuel-efficient. And so Queen Elizabeth was given less boilers, although her boilers were larger than Queen Mary's boilers. I think Queen Elizabeth's boilers are probably the largest marine boilers ever built, possibly. But yeah, she was given less boilers than Queen Mary, so less volume of steam, and as well as the fact that her boilers were designed to burn less fuel, in order to generate an equivalent amount of steam for a service speed. So yeah, it's kind of complicated in that way, but yeah. So Queen Elizabeth was just designed to be more fuel efficient, and some people mistake that to think that because she's more fuel efficient, she's faster. But that's not the same. That's kind of like comparing a Lamborghini to a Prius. You know, the Lamborghini consumes a lot of fuel to go at really fast speed, but the Prius is designed to consume less fuel and still go an acceptable speed for getting to work every morning. So that is exactly how I compare the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. Although that's not to say at all that Queen Elizabeth was less luxurious. She certainly was just as luxurious as Queen Mary. Alright, folks, I am going to end the live stream now. I'm going to finish doing this with my dad off of the live stream. But, yeah, so hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you for an actual tea time on Wednesday. So, thanks again, everybody. Bye. Oh, wait. Let's show you guys the progress on the little house. There you are. So he's still working on those 2 gray windows, but they'll be the same kind of milky white color as the rest of the trim. I think it looks beautiful, Dad.
Thanks. It's looking good.
Yeah.
I like the chimney.
Yeah, the chimney's really good. Bring that closer to the camera. Maybe they'll be able to see the detail. There's a lot of different colors in the chimney. It's not just one solid color. Same thing for the roof, too. A lot of different colors in there. So yeah, pretty neat.
Cool.
Alright, folks. See you all later.